The movie Dredd from 2012 was a masterpiece that no one really talks about. Of course it has its flaws, but overall, it is a great comic book film. It's kinda shocking to see how little recognition this movie gets, with all the praise for Marvel and DC movies on the big screen, especially with this one being rated R, when comic book fans are looking for that hard R superhero movie. This is a movie that definitely uses its R rating to its advantage. There are so many elements in this movie that just would not have worked with a PG-13 rating. One of those elements include one of the main villains in this movie, and it's not a person, but a drug called Slo-Mo. Before I go on with this video, if you haven't seen Dredd, and I'm not talking about the stinker with Sylvester Stallone from the 90s, go watch it and then come back to this video. It is seriously one of my favorite movies of all time, and I want this movie to get the recognition it deserves. The Slo-Mo and Mama backstory. Slo-Mo is an extremely powerful and very addictive drug that is being distributed by Madeline Madrigal, or Mama, and her Mama clan. It is her army, cartel, or whatever you want to call it. Before she became leader of the clan, Mama had a love interest named Eric, who actually created Slo-Mo. Mama's pimp Lester Grimes brutally murdered Eric, making Mama enraged. She got revenge for Eric's death by giving Grimes Slo-Mo while performing oral sex to enhance the experience, or so she said. While doing this, she bit off his penis and made him bleed to death while under the influence of this drug that slows your brain down tremendously. After this, she became leader of the clan and owned Sector 13 of the Peachtree block in the Peachtree's building, the top floor. Eric had the details on how to make it saved on his computer before he got killed, so Mama and her clan were able to mass produce the very potent drug. What is Slo-Mo, and what are the effects of Slo-Mo? Like I said before, Slo-Mo is extremely powerful, and if it was in this real world, it would be a much bigger problem than heroin, meth, or even fentanyl. First of all, Slo-Mo is a brown, caramel-colored liquid that comes in a white inhaler with a clear capsule. The inhaler also has a heart on it to mark the Mama clan. What does Slo-Mo actually do? Well, when you inhale this drug through the inhaler, it immediately takes effect. The main effect that takes place is that it slows the user's brain down by 100%. In the movie, they use a great slow motion effect to show what is actually happening to the user. And no, this movie's not directed by Zack Snyder, although he wishes he did. This drug also makes colors appear more vividly. Just like LSD, Slo-Mo is actually an LSD derivative. It also appears to hold a pretty euphoric effect. I don't know exactly how euphoric it is, but it looks to be as strong, if not stronger, than most drugs in the real world. Once the drug has been inhaled, the irises of the user become briefly illuminated. The drug also extends the pain or pleasure the person is experiencing during the time they are on the Slo-Mo. So, if you are having sex or something very pleasurable, it feels like the best thing ever, like a never-ending orgasm. But, if you get thrown out of the top floor of the Peachtree's building, like many of Mama's victims, and even Mama herself, it has to be the worst agony of all time. Just imagine falling hundreds of feet for a couple seconds, but feeling like it's over 30 minutes, seeing the ground get closer every couple minutes, and not being able to do anything about it. The ending scene with Mama being thrown off really makes me cringe when she hits the ground. I couldn't imagine the pain she must have felt when her head started cracking open. Not that she didn't deserve it, but just that it would be extremely painful. Watch that scene high as fuck, you'll see what I'm talking about. In the comics, Slo-Mo has no bad notable side effects, but in the movie, Slo-Mo does appear to have negative effects. When Judge Dredd examines the bodies of several users, the inside of their mouths have burns. This negative side effect reminds me of inhalants in real life, because you can freeze your mouth by doing that stuff. I actually got a comment the other day talking about how some guy died because his throat froze. If you do inhalants or anything like that, just put it away. There's no positive thing that could come out of it. There is another indicator that the inside of your mouth corrodes after heavy use, because Mama has rotten teeth. Usually someone with rotten teeth, like hers, are heavy users. Another negative effect could be that it has degenerative effects on the mind with long-term use. This is implied because of the way Mama has no feeling for other human lives. This could also be from her past trauma as well, because it is not confirmed, just inferred. The purpose of Slo-Mo. Why do people even take this stuff to begin with? Well, the positive effects of this drug probably outweigh the negative to most of the citizens in Mega City 1. With nothing to do in this futuristic world, one of the very few things you can enjoy is indulging in this drug. Many of the citizens that live there are bored and have nothing to look forward to, so Slo-Mo can help with that. Even though this pleasure only lasts a few seconds, it feels much longer, and it prolongs the high for the user. In conclusion, Slo-Mo is one of the most powerful drugs on the planet. Since this is mainly a trip report channel, I thought I would do something fun and write a bad trip experience for a user who tried it. Here's the trip report. This experience was one of the most terrifying trips I have ever had. It was a normal day, just like any in Mega City 1. Crime, dread, and sorrow. But today, I am particularly more depressed than usual, so I thought about hanging out with a buddy of mine, Jay. I called him and we talked, but during our conversation, he brought up something called Slo-Mo. He told me he did some earlier that day and asked me if I wanted to do some too. Now, I had heard about this stuff before from word around the block, but I've never tried it or even seen it in person. Jay said that he would give me the first hit for free, so I thought, what the hell? He lived in Peachtrees where it was being produced, so it was easy for him to get some. I live in the Atlantic City block. About an hour later, Jay came to my apartment, if you want to call it that, so that we could hit this stuff. I was a little nervous to take it at the start because I saw pictures of what some addicts look like after taking it. Jay reassured me that those people look like that because they didn't do it responsibly and rely on it for everyday life. I nodded my head to what he said and was prepared to take it all in. Since he knew what he was doing, he let me hit it first in case something went wrong. He gave me the white inhaler to smoke it, and I noticed a little heart on it. I asked Jay, "What's that heart doing on there?" He said, "Oh, that's like a symbol to indicate that Mama controls it or something. I don't know." I nodded and said, alright. I put the inhaler in my mouth and took a deep breath. Wow, this is insane, was the first thought that came to my mind. I heard Jay talking to me. I believe he asked, "Are you feeling it?" But he literally could have said anything. The first thing I remember from inhaling it was how beautiful everything looked. The colors were much more vibrant and made everything look crazy. Jay looked very red, and his shirt was an even brighter, more vivid yellow than before. I am extremely happy at this point. I haven't been this happy since before I even existed in this stupid world. I thought salvia made things go slow, but this was a million times slower. It felt like 10 minutes before I even saw Jay grab the inhaler. It was probably only a couple of seconds in real time. The liquid that Slo-Mo came in looked really cool. It looked like a brown ocean wave inside the capsule, and I was the surfer. I never liked the color brown before, but this made it my favorite color at that moment. A little while after, I saw smoke come flying out of Jay's mouth, but very, very slowly. It looked like a volcano erupted and the ash was getting all over me. Now, we're both looking at each other and smiling. The euphoric feeling I got from this was amazing as well. I felt like I was wrapped in blankets on a huge cloud. I don't know if that happened to anyone else, but it happened to me. So far, this has been one of the best drug experiences I have ever had. I felt it coming down and wanted to take another hit from Jay. His wore off a couple seconds after mine did. If I was still high from it, that wait would have probably felt like 15 minutes. Overall, that first trip felt like a little over an hour. I was satisfied with my results, but I wanted it to last longer. I told him this, and he said the next time I hit it, to inhale longer. I should have just stopped there though. Little did I know what was in store for me. He gave me the inhaler again, but this time, I was sure to inhale it much longer. Before I hit it though, he put a 5-second countdown on his phone and showed it to me. He told me to inhale until it reaches 0. I had no idea how long 5 seconds was going to take, knowing that I was going to be on Slo-Mo. Well, I guess I was about to find out. I put the inhaler in my mouth and took another deep breath. As I was inhaling, I was watching the countdown. Each second felt like a couple of minutes. It felt like I was holding in my breath for 15 minutes. But for some reason, I had no difficulty whatsoever. Once the countdown hit 0, I blew out the smoke. Now I was the volcano. The same effects started taking place. Colors became more vivid. I was very happy, and I felt amazing. But this is where things take a turn for the worse. As I was enjoying this beautiful trip, I heard a noise that sounded extremely loud and super close. Jay's face turned from excited to downright terrified. He started to look at me and started screaming, but I couldn't process anything he was saying. As he was screaming, I saw a bullet fly into my room. It seriously looked like that movie, The Matrix, from almost 100 years ago. I could see the bullet moving slowly and the tracer behind it. It hit right next to where we were sitting. In this altered state of time dilation, I still knew we were in trouble. I tried to get up, but my brain was moving slower than a snail's pace for my limbs to start working. Well, as I was trying to get up, I saw blood being splattered on my body from Jay. He got shot, and his prolonged screams freaked me the fuck out. I saw another bullet headed in my direction, coming really close. There was nothing I could do about it. I tried to move, trust me, but it felt like I was stuck. 3, 2, 1. The bullet struck. I looked down at my shoulder and saw the bullet steaming out of my body. When my brain realized this, the pain started to come on. This was unlike any other pain I have felt before. It was a slow and an extremely painful onset. It felt like I just got whacked with a metal bat with knives on it, and someone was repeatedly beating me with it. It only kept getting worse, and I knew this was going to last a long time because I seriously just hit the Slo-Mo, and it was a huge hit. I started to fall down from the impact, and on the way down, about 10 minutes in, my head was slowly coming in contact with the wooden table by the couch. In extreme agony from the gunshot, I started to feel head pain too. Imagine your worst migraine and multiply that by 100. My body eventually hit the ground, and I just laid there. I started crying because I have never experienced anything like that before. The tears took a long time to drip off of my face. Jay was on the ground as well. I tried to scream at him, but no words came out. My whole body just felt like it was going to explode. Every single pore of my existence felt like it was on fire, like I was just sitting in a burning block, asking to burn to death. I endured this pain for what felt like 2 hours, but I finally started to come down. The pain still lingered on and wasn't getting any better. It was getting worse. As I was coming down, my body started feeling different, like the pain was more sharp and happening quicker. The colors became less and less saturated and started to look bleak again. I saw a pool of blood next to me, and I knew I had to get help. I was still hearing gunshots, so I went to hide under my bed. It hurt and took a lot of strength to bend down and move under my bed. As I was under there, I saw Jay, and he was looking at me crying, saying, "I'm sorry." This made me cry too. Once the gunshots stopped, I called 911 to have the ambulance come and take us to the hospital. I told them what happened and that we needed emergency assistance. Seconds later, I heard the sirens of judges and ambulances coming to Atlantic City. Jay got shot in the shoulder, just like I did, so I knew we were going to be okay, but we were both still in extreme pain. I told him that I suffered that pain, multiplied by 1,000, for 2 hours. He just looked at me, gave me a hug, and told me that we were never doing Slo-Mo again. I took the Slo-Mo from him and hid it in a place the judges wouldn't find. A judge and a couple of EMTs came into my apartment and put us both on stretchers. The judge asked us if we were okay, and we both said yes. I was still moving and talking kind of slow. I asked him where the gunshots came from. He told us that the Mama clan were taking out people who didn't pay for the Slo-Mo. He also said not to worry, that we're safe now, because he killed the members of the Mama clan who were firing shots aimlessly. I thanked him, and we went on our way to the hospital. When we got to the hospital, we both got sedated and were out cold for a couple of hours, but in real time this go around. Once I woke up, there was a judge in my room asking me if I was alright again and all that kind of stuff. Since we were technically witnesses, I had to give him my account of what happened. I, of course, did not mention the Slo-Mo, but told him that I just started hearing gunshots, and the next thing I knew, I was lying on the ground in extreme agony. He eventually left and wished me a speedy recovery. Jay and I both stayed overnight at the hospital, and the next morning, we went home. It's been a couple of days since this incident, and I don't think I will ever recover. Jay seems to be doing a lot better than me, but he will never understand what I had to go through being shot while on Slo-Mo. It was the worst thing someone could ever feel. I will never do Slo-Mo again, and I hope Jay won't either. Yes, it was fun when it was pleasurable, but I suffered like no human should ever suffer. This could happen to you too. With the world we're living in, your life can just change in an instant. What if that bullet hit my head or my heart or anywhere that would kill me? I got really lucky. I hope one of the judges gets to Mama and kills her. There is no reason for her to be distributing such a dangerous drug. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I got this idea because I just love this movie, and I was always intrigued by Slo-Mo. I thought since I have this trip report channel, why not talk about one of my favorite movies and make it a really interesting analysis, if you want to call it that. I did this before with The Hangover for April Fool's Day this year, so go check that out if you missed it. If you guys want me to do another video like this, with another fictional drug from a movie, please tell me in the comments. I think I was able to do this one with such great detail because I've seen it many times. Remember to like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any new upload. Also, follow me on Instagram @TheTripKeeper if you have one. I hope you all have a wonderful day and stay tripping.